killer has thrown the city into a growing panic, and up until now, no one has had a clue to his identity.
This is where the law stops, and I start. Cobra was released in 1986, directed by George P. Cosmatos, and starring Sylvester Stallone, Bridgette Neilson, Renee Santoni, and Brian Thompson. When a tough-on-crime street cop must protect the only surviving witness of a strange new murderous cult who try to rid the world of the weak and call themselves the New World. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason, and you're watching Backtrack Cinema, and today we'll be reviewing Cobra, a Sylvester Stallone cult classic, man. And this is the Alphabet Action Movie Challenge. We are C is for Cobra. Well, my history with this film, guys, is you guys know I'm a huge Stallone fan, massive Stallone fan, but this is not one I watched on repeat a lot. This is a film I grew to appreciate as I got older, and I pop it in every now and then, but there's some people who's like, best Stallone movie ever, best Stallone flick ever made. I'm not really one of those people on that camp. I would say this movie's on my top 10, but the back of the top 10, maybe even just an honorable mention. But Cobra's great. It's a solid action flick. You get a great slasher element into the movie too. I mean, their main villain here is called the Night Slasher. There is a cut that's over 2 hours that was like rated X or something like that. Like not even R rating. I think it would be great if we could see that extended Cobra cut with all its violence and all its gore. It's Stallone playing Dirty Harry. This is essentially another story about a cop fighting the law. He's fighting the bad guys. He's trying to get justice for victims, and it's a breakdown of the justice system, essentially, like Dirty Harry. Obviously, Dirty Harry is a way better film, and it did things so much better. You're dealing with a world where things aren't so black and white. You do your best, these cops, to uphold the law. Criminals find loopholes. They plead insanity. And then what happens to the victims? What happens to their right? Whose best interest are we really serving here? And Stallone's got to protect this witness from this cult of killers who want to rid the world of the weak, and they call themselves the New World and everything. And the more these guys hunter, the more bodies Stallone leaves, and the more shit this guy gets into from his commanding officers. And he's part of this elite squad called the Zombie Squad, where they take the toughest jobs, like Dirty Harry, right? He takes the dirtiest jobs that no one else wants to do, and they think Cobra, these other cops think Cobra is just, he always steps over the line. He doesn't really care about anybody's rights and stuff like that, but he just cares about the victim's rights.
You tell that to his family, huh?
Stallone's great as this character. He's almost symbolic of a rock star. He's got that kind of aesthetic feel to him, the way he talks and everything like that, the way he has this really loner type kind of swagger, you know what I mean? It's got lines in this where you're like, oh my God, but Stallone can just pull it off. You're a disease and I'm the cure. It's okay. I don't shop here. This is where the law stops and I start. He can pull these kind of lines off and somehow make it just believable. I've always found anyway, you know what I mean? I think Brian Thompson is great in this flick. He doesn't talk much, but he's got a very villainous look. He's got a very intimidating stare to him. He's got that freaking badass knife. You see him sharpening and stuff like that. Just a very intimidating, mean-looking freaking character. And him and Stallone have this great fight at the end where Stallone throws him on a fucking hook, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, man. And it's awesome. It's a great way to end the movie. And he's the criminal who knows, he's gotten this cult of freaking killers, you know what I mean? And the killer knows that if I just plead insanity to let me off. Like he's playing into the loopholes of the law. And that's where Stallone comes in, and he knows what he has to do. Take this guy out. Take out the trash. Much as I love all the action and the shootouts and everything, I love the car chases. I think the car chases is actually the highlight of the action in this movie. And I love Stallone's car. I love the chase scenes. When he's driving down the road, he throws that bitch in the reverse, comes back, shoots at the guys and everything like that, then goes forward again. It's got some great ass chase scenes in this, man. And Stallone's car, man, is a 1950s Mercury Monterey, and they were nicknamed lead sleds because how heavy they were. I absolutely love the look of the car. It suits his character. The car is almost like a character in this movie. You know, every action star, every action character, they gotta have that like cops, you know, they gotta have that car. They gotta have that iconic car. I think it just plays into that rock star aesthetic feel of this character so much more. It's got a decent score. If you like the soundtracks of the 80s, you're definitely gonna like the soundtrack of Cobra. Now, everything's not so great in this movie. I think Stallone and Bridgette Nielsen's chemistry is awful in this movie, and I think she is actually pretty bad in this movie. I mean, she's not a great actress to begin with. I mean, I think her best role that I ever seen her in was Beverly Hills Cop 2 as the blonde bitch, as the big tall blonde bitch.
God damn, that's a big bitch.
The evil girl there. I think she was really good in that movie, but her and Stallone, like, surprisingly, you know, they were married for like 2 years in the 80s at some point, but they have no on-screen chemistry here. They don't play off well against one another at all. I do not buy this kind of relationship, like they're hot for each other. I just don't buy it at all. I think she's one of the worst screamers, running away from the killer and all that kind of stuff. They give both of them lots of weak dialogue in their relationship whenever they're having a conversation together. And I know Stallone wrote this script, and I think this is the weakest part of it. They're not really doing any character building. Most of their conversations are plain, boring, and it doesn't advance the character development at all. And I just don't really, like, I like Cobra in it. I wouldn't have cared if she fucking got killed or not. It wouldn't have mattered. Just very weak character, and they're weak together. They make the cops look really stupid in this movie, and I get that we have to be on Cobra's side. You know, Cobra's right, you should listen to him, all that. It's just set up to create this conflict between the characters, but I find it makes the whole police force just look really stupid.
Because we're not up against one man, we're up against an army of killers. I keep telling you guys that.
How do you know that? I mean, what have you guys got, besides one scared woman, to back up anything you say?
You could have handled the writing better there, and you could have handled the way you were executing it. I just found out, I'm just like, these are the stupidest cops I've ever seen. That's what I'm like when I'm watching this flick. And being an ode to Dirty Harry, you had Andrew Robinson as one of the detectives who played the Scorpio Killer, and you had Dirty Harry's partner as Stallone's partner in this. And, you know, he's a guy who's just like addicted to candy bars and sugar and all that. But Cobra's a good cop action flick, and Stallone just elevates the movie better than maybe it should be. So I'm going to give Cobra a B-. What about you guys? Let me know in the comments below what you think of Cobra. Do you like it? Don't you like it? Let me know, and we'll have a good discussion on Cobra. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell to keep up to date on all my content. Go down the rabbit hole. I got other videos right here, related videos. I've done quite a few Stallone movies already, so check those out. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema. I will see you next time, and I will see you in the movies. Cheers.